everyone, welcome to the Unfinished Swan. I decided to go ahead and play some old games I had back in my library, you know, just to remind myself of how great the olden days used to be. Now, you may have noticed this is not normally what the title is supposed to look like, and that's because I've already completed this game. But that's fine, we're still gonna go through it. Anyway, let me just make sure. So yeah, as you can see, I've already gotten all of the balloons and stuff like that. And this playthrough, I won't be resetting my progress or anything like that. We're just gonna go through it. If you want to play this game for yourself, obviously I do recommend you do so, as this will spoil a lot of things. Well, except where all of the balloons are. I won't be spoiling that because, well, I've already collected all of them. Anyway, enough of me rambling, let's get into this.
Monroe's mother had always been much better at starting things than finishing them. When she died, she left behind over 300 canvases, not one of them finished, along with Monroe, who felt pretty unfinished himself. The orphanage allowed him to keep only one painting.
Wow,
and
rude.
So he chose the unfinished swan that had always been his mother's favorite. But that night,
Where did all the other paintings go, though?
Had disappeared.
That's what I want to
So he
know.
took his mother's silver paintbrush and followed the footprints into a little door he hadn't seen before.
Okay, we're in, it looks like. Oh, there we go. So, this morning I spent some time trying to fix an issue with, my audio. Because, you see, when I play games like this, I have to actually lower the music's volume and stuff like that, because the way my OBS captures audio is, through the desktop for some reason. And my attempt to fix it was, sadly unsuccessful. So, yeah. That's the reason why whenever I play these games I have to turn down the music and sound. So I do have to apologize if this game is dead quiet, but if I didn't do that I wouldn't be able to hear the sound of my own voice. So yeah. Also, what I'm doing right now is not something you can do in the base game. This is obviously one of the abilities you can unlock when you get all of the balloons, where you can just rapid fire all of these paintings. Or ink, I suppose. It's pretty neat, I like it. Although I do have to admit, having to press R over and over in order to trigger it is a bit annoying. Like, you can't just press it once and it stays on, you have to actually hold it. Unless I could change that, I don't know. Man, this is so cool. I do have some other things I can use as well, but I'm not really going to need them. This technique right here is possibly the only thing I'll ever need. Alright, let's see where we're going. I'm going to see if I can avoid the statue right there. You may be wondering why I'm going to do that. Well, it will make a cutscene later on in the game dead funny. So that's the reason why I'm avoiding it. Alright. Going this way. Oh, I heard the swan just done. Here we go. I actually watched a speedrun of this game, and it's quite interesting how they get around the world. Like, I didn't even know you could speedrun a game like this. That's a chicken. Looks like I'm going this way. I must admit, just throwing ink everywhere and watching the world slowly get coloured in. Absolutely amusing. Oh look, there's a crane there. Right, are we going up this way? Doesn't look like it. I'll throw the ink everywhere so I can fully figure out where I'm supposed to go. Later on we won't need to do this in this game. We'll just be able to walk around and solve some puzzles. But the puzzle in this section is actually trying to figure out where on earth you're supposed to go. Because everything is completely pitch black. I mean white, not black, Jesus. Alright, I'm gonna let this play out.
The king was young, arrogant, and amazingly talented. He was convinced no color existed that was good enough for his garden, so he left it white. While he pondered how to create some new colors, his kingdom began attracting settlers, and soon he found himself with bigger problems.
Wow, really? You don't say. You don't say. Would you want to settle in this place? I wouldn't.
Hey!
Well, not with it being impossible to tell where you need to go. There is some music playing in this section, but like I said, I had to tone everything down, so if you can't hear it, then I'm sorry about that. Oh, there we go. He's painted shadows now. Where's the thing? Is it in the other room? There we go.
The king's new subjects were tired of white. They were tired of tripping, of banging their shins, of misplacing their homes. So they started painting everything, ruining the king's spotless design. In response, the king outlawed all non-magical brushes and pledged to spend the next month painting shadows for his kingdom.
Nice. Now I can finally see where I'm going, without having to throw ink everywhere. Wow.
Whoa!
I have no idea what on earth that could be. It's like a weird whale creature? The game never really explains it either. I gotta say, wouldn't it be kind of cool if you could explore all that area over there and see where it goes? Sadly, this game is what I consider to be a bit linear. It wants you to go in one particular direction, and that's pretty much it. Now this bit's important. This is the maze. So once we go out, we go right, then go a little bit forward, left, then left again, then left again. There we go. It's a neat little area, this one, isn't it? What's up here? Oh, he's painted the section that we were just in before. Isn't that neat? Also, minor spoilers, you can find a balloon here. Well, I suppose I'm spoiling the entire game for you guys already, so... I know. Oh. Now this bit has always been so beautiful to me. Look at that. Also, hello. Don't mind if I check you out real quick. Bye. Yes, I do see a picture down there. I'll go and get it. Now, normally you're not supposed to see these. You only see the golden letter. But since I've already beaten this game before, it's already revealed the story page. So that's the reason why they look like that. Anyway, I'll play this thing out for you guys.
The labyrinth was designed to be beautiful, and it was. It was not designed to be practical, and it wasn't. Whole families got lost for weeks at a time, mail took months to arrive, and many worried a labyrinth of this size was bound to attract dragons. Eventually, the complaints grew so loud even the king couldn't ignore them.
I mean, why would you want to ignore them? Alright. So I need to go up this way. Oh, did I already go in the wrong way? Amazing. I mean, can you blame me? Mazes has not always been my strongest suit. Although there is a technique you can do where you just stick to the left the entire time and eventually you'll find the exit. It's not the best method, but it works, so I'm not gonna really complain too hard. There's the door. Although it does make me wonder, if you were to paint this, right? If you were to make this entire bit down here, would you make it beautiful and practical, or would you just stick to beauty? And also, Jesus.
The king was so frustrated with the messy, demanding people of his kingdom that he decided to start over. One morning he painted a boat and set off to find the perfect spot. He told himself he'd come back someday to finish what he had started, but of course, he never did.
Ah, not finishing things. Glad to see it runs into the family. Also, hello. Just gonna go ahead and look in this real quick. Isn't it interesting that it just zooms in on this one spot? Alright, let's go.
For the first time in weeks, Monroe felt good. He felt even better when the wind pushed him close enough to reach the Swan. He was feeling so good, in fact, that he forgot all about his fear of heights. But when the Swan wriggled free and Monroe fell over the side, he remembered almost immediately. That might have been the end of Monroe if this were a shorter story, but it isn't, which is why Monroe's troubles were just beginning.
Translation, we lost the ability to throw ink everywhere. Right, let's go.
Monroe scrambled out of the water and found himself in a massive city with no sign of the Swan or anyone else. Well, except someone's enormous pair of feet. These were attached to a giant who could have been a big help in catching the Swan, but unfortunately, here was the laziest giant who had ever lived.
Wow, what a mood.
And it was his day off. Having celebrated in his usual way, he was now sleeping it off and quite unable to hear Monroe yelling. While he was looking for a way to wake the giant, Monroe noticed something even better: a floating ship.
And here we are. Wow, look at that. I like how this game never really explains how the king figured out how to make the color blue, but and also black too. Although I suppose it's not really that difficult to make black. But how about like greys and reds? Where did he get those from? Also, it looks like everyone's clothing was just white and grey. That's interesting. Also, your character, Monroe, giggles when you do this. I'm not sure if you heard that. Let me try that again. There you go. Honestly, don't know which one's faster. Rapidly throwing things or using this. Oh.
Sometimes the giant wondered about where all the people in the city had gone. Mostly he worried they might come back and ask him to clean their gutters or put out their fires. But they never did, and that was why the giant, who was the laziest that had ever lived, was also the happiest.
Aw, good for you, dude. Right then. Gotta cross this. Get down here. And
Before he discovered painting, the king was a potter. He loved the simplicity of a well-spun pot. So when his subjects complained that his new city was too austere and that there was nowhere to relieve themselves, the king ignored them. But when they started relieving themselves in his pots, the king hastily built them a sewer system.
why did it take that for him to give them, like, bathrooms, man? This king is so weird. Oh, finally, a ladder. I must say, those sections where you're completely blind, I don't really like those. Alright, you gotta go this way. I don't know if I should make this game any louder than it already is. But, I guess I'll have to see in post once I've done getting through this section. And by this section, I mean the entire game. Right, here we go. Ooh, spooky. Wow. That really does look like it's about to collapse any second, doesn't it? Yep. Scaffolding. What? Here we go. I'm also going to keep a close eye out on those little book things, I guess. Nice. When I first played this game, I missed this jump like 7 times. It's not hard, it's just a little bit frustrating. Because you kind of have to time your jump a little bit. Not sure. Can I jump that? Don't know if I can jump that. Right. It's stuck over there now. The speedrunner didn't do that, but he actually hopped in at a certain point, but I wouldn't want to do that. I'm not a speedrunner. I'm not a master at this game. I'm not a master of any game, really. Right, goodbye, not OSHA compliant, thing. Crane. I know, it's missing its hook. Can you even call that a crane? There's another thing over there. I'll go and get it. Because in this section we're going to be using vines to get around. And this is going to get covered. So I'm going to do it now whilst you can still see it.
As the city filled up with people, the streets filled up with garbage. In a fury, the king painted over the roads with a canal, which swept away the trash, along with some of the slower children. But the water brought something else, a horde of vines which began covering the city.
Okay. But I do have another question. Where did those vines come from? Also, minor warning here for people with arachnophobia. Don't worry, you just saw the eyes, but still, I like to give fair warnings. Right, here we go. Come on, you lot. Up you go. Up, up, up. This kid's a pretty amazing vine climber. I would be absolutely terrible at this. I don't know, I've never really climbed on vines before. Okay, I might have to manually do this instead of using my favorite technique of just using the spamming button. Come on, get over there. I like how each section of this game brings a new gimmick. That's pretty cool. Hello. Perfect. Oh. Not missing any storyboards, am I? No. Oh. Oh dear. Right, I don't know what happened there. That was very, very strange. Interesting. Alright. Yes, you can use the vines to do something with that. I'm not gonna do it here, because that'd be a little bit of spoilerage. Alright. Now I need to get one of these bad boys to go in the pipe. There we go. Sometimes it's a little bit annoying to get the vines to do that. And there we go. Use that to jump across. Nice. Also, your character can't swim, so that's the reason why I'm not just jumping into that water right there. That would not go well. But it makes me wonder though, you know how he fell into the water? He could swim then, but then all of a sudden he can't swim here. Makes you think, huh? Makes you think why that's the case. Yep, there's another one.
Unlike his nicely trimmed hedge maze, the vines refused to stay where the king wanted them. He ordered his subjects to pull up every vine they saw. But the people were getting tired of the king's endless decrees, so they secretly began watering the vines whenever the king wasn't looking.
Wow, I'm starting to think that this king was not the greatest person in the world. Like, he's already screwed up at, like, I don't know, once? Twice? Alright, where are we going? I have no clue. So I'm just gonna throw water everywhere and hope for the best. That's a wall, it looks like. Oh, there we go. At times like this is where I'd miss the, what do you call it? The ink. I miss you, ink. I'm still questioning why this dude left everything so white. Like, I know white is pretty cool, but you need to calm down. Right, that should do. That's a very useful tool that'll help us later. Oh. Yes, I know. You're guiding me along. Just give me a moment to get that done. Okay. Say goodbye to the vines for now. We'll be meeting them again in only a short moment. Right. Got this here.
The king hated the sea, and all because of his very first castle. It was the only one he had ever come close to finishing, and it took him a single day. But then the tide came in and washed it all away. He vowed that someday he'd build a kingdom that would last forever.
I mean, we always had that frustration of trying to build a sandcastle, but his mistake was not creating a little ditch to keep the water in. So, that's on you, dude. You just suck at making sandcastles. Wow, look at that. And there he is. It's crazy how it allows you to see that from that distance. Yep. Also, yes, look at that. Sharks. I suppose that's another reason why you don't want to get in that water right there. Because the drowning won't get you. The shark sure will. Thank you. These are some pretty crazy vines. Like, all they need is water and they can grow. Mental. Like, have you ever encountered vines like this where all you need is just some water and they just grow like mental? I'm pretty sure I don't need these at the moment. It's just an old habit of mine to spam these absolutely everywhere.
Whoa!
Yeah, I mean, I would also scream a little bit if I suddenly let go like that. Alright.
The vines were slowly burying the king and his city. No matter what he tried, the king couldn't stop them. So he decided to create something that could. He mixed in paint thinner, malice, and snot, and soon had the outlines of a pretty horrible creature. But it wasn't until the thing began to coil its tentacles and snap its jaws that the king understood what he had made. And for the first time in his life, the king was afraid.
I mean, I don't blame him because look at that thing. But at the same time, why would you even make that thing to begin with? Couldn't you just made like a flamethrower or something? I don't know. Or pesticide? Well, I don't know. Maybe pesticide didn't exist back then. Also, I would not be able to do this bit. Like, I don't know how slippery these things are. But yeah. Hose. I saw a speedrunner do that, and they managed to get some vines to appear from out there, but it didn't work this time. Oh well. Almost there. Come on. Get yourselves over here. There we go. I think at the end there, one of those vines did come out of the window. That's a shame. Could have spared me from having to do all of that. Wow, look at all these weapons.
Even half finished, the creature had no trouble swallowing up all the king's soldiers, half his zoo, and 3 peppermint gazebos. It was only with the help of his pet hippo and the giant that the king was able to force it into the sea. And though the water remained black for years after, the creature was never seen again on shore.
Sorry about that. That's the reason why I don't like activating that sequence with the vines first, because it causes that to happen where they just go over everything and prevent you from reading stuff. At least you can hear the voice though, hopefully. Like I said, I don't know how loud it is on your guys' end. Wrong way, it looks like. Crazy. That was the sniper rifle, and you're telling me that didn't work? Mental. Right. There we go. I swear, it didn't look like he was about to make that jump just then. Right, where are we going? Ah, over there. Come on, gang, we need to go. There we go. Also, I wonder why the king left us here. Like, was there multiple?
Within a short time, the king's subjects had all moved away, except the giant, who was quite loyal and also very lazy.
I wonder where they moved to. Also, look at that. Now we know that the giant eats toast. I do have a question though. Where did that toast come from? And where's the toaster? Like, did the king do that too? Many mysteries, man. Many mysteries. I would hate doing this bit in real life.
Monroe waved goodbye to the giant and set sail. But no matter how fast he went, the Swan was always just out of reach. And not for the first time that day, Monroe suspected he was being led somewhere.
Really? It took you
Then
that
they flew
long?
into a cloud, and everything went black.
I always questioned who is narrating this. Okay, so this bit right here does have a lot of spiders in it. So, again, arachnophobia warning. You don't ever get to see them too much, but
Monroe
still.
sailed on in darkness following the Swan's voice, but he never saw a thing. Not the stars, not the Swan, and certainly not the tree he got stuck in. When the clouds lifted, the Swan was gone, leaving Monroe alone in the middle of an immense forest. Since there was nothing else to be done, he jumped.
And there it is. Most people don't look around to notice that. They just focus on moving forward. Speaking of which. And... nope. Yep. That's why I gave that warning. I don't have an arachnophobia, but I don't like spiders. I consider this section to be the scary part. Wonder if I can hit this. No. What is the sniper rifle good for then if you can't use it to hit things like that? Like it's supposed to, you're supposed to use it to like hit things from really far away, but you can't even hit things up close. Ridiculous. Going this way. Yep, fucking spiders. You definitely do not want to stay in the darkness for too long. God. Why did he have such a beef with Monroe anyway? Like, what on earth did he do? I don't know. Also, you may have noticed that we've got ink back. Yay! Not very useful, I don't think. Especially in this dark section. Also, I love the sounds this thing makes. Feels like a water balloon. Come back here. We don't want to lose you. Go away. You as well. This section, man. I suppose you could say this is a metaphor for a dark part in the king's life. I don't know. That's just how I think about it. Come on, get a move on. Maybe I'll do a little theory or something about this gun. I don't know. Okay. And this is the wait for the ball to move around in the river section. Yay! Very riveting. Why are you so slow? Oh well. You know what they say, slow and steady wins the race. I'm staying close to the river so I can tell where this thing is going. Hello, frog. You look completely terrifying in the dark, by the way. Nice. Oh, it's moving a bit faster. God, fucking spooders. They're everywhere. And that is a crocodile. Or an alligator, I don't know. I'm not very good at my lizards. Not lizards. Oh, in case you're wondering, if you do get hit by the spiders too many times, your character basically like passes out and then he respawns. Try not to push too much because I need to read this.
The king was tired of creating perfect kingdoms only to attract less than perfect subjects. He decided he'd have to leave a legacy the old-fashioned way, with a family. So he began to build one, starting with a house.
Oh, that's sweet. Always a little bit annoying to move this thing around. You can make it go a little bit faster by hitting it, obviously. Alright, it can stay there. Let's see what this says.
The king had never had much luck with people, so instead of trying to find a wife, he painted one. When she opened her eyes, the king was astonished. He had created a female version of himself. The king was in love.
Of course he would create a female version of himself. Nepotism much? Ooh. Crazy. Look at how that works. Nice. Not nice. Nice. Not nice. Also, I'm just gonna look at the stars real quick. Beautiful. Alright, let's go move on. Okay. So in this section, what you do is you use the balls to make little things like this. You can make them as long as you want, as wide as you want, whatever works for you. I do not know how that works, but whatever, it does. What? Okay, whatever. And as you can see, it's now been translated into the real world. Yeah, no clue. Oh, come on, you're gonna play.
Bursting with joy, the king locked himself in his workshop painting gifts for his queen. He never saw her lack of interest, though she made no effort to hide it. The only gift she kept was his first, a little silver paintbrush.
Hey, it's the one we're using. That should give you a subtle hint. I was supposed to go that way. It's just making sure there wasn't any other paintings or whatever. Also, there she is. So if he looks like that, she looks like this. Interesting. Alright. Yay! This game has such great music, and I honestly feel so bad that you guys cannot hear it because of how I had to lower, you know, the volume and stuff. It pains me, it really does. Also, you can make yourself little platforms like that. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Little strat there. When I first did this section, I really didn't like it. But only because I didn't really understand the mechanics of this blueprint section. Also, is there something out here? No? Okay. Just checking. Right then. Is it on the other side? Yeah, it's on the other side. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Right, there we go, it worked out in the end, but still, don't make that mistake. Still wondering how this bit works. It's pretty amazing if you think about it. Like, it's like a blueprint world. Using paint. Mental. Well, here's my funny little Easter egg. Yes, they did make that game. Which is why it's there. And speaking of which... There we go. And... yeah, yeet.
Every day the king painted a new room for the house, and every day he abandoned it as not good enough for his queen. While he slept, the queen spent her nights painting creatures of the forest, though she never finished a single one. 5 months went by before the king noticed she was pregnant.
Okay, question, how? Also, another subtle hint. Right there. Or maybe it's not so subtle, or maybe you've already figured it out, but I'm not gonna say a single thing. Until we get there. So I'm just doing these out of habit because I don't know which area is safe and I don't know which area is not.
On the night before the queen was to give birth, she left. All she took was a single unfinished painting. When the king woke, he found no explanation, and he never did.
Wow. Wouldn't she at least, like, leave a letter? Also, I'm now finally gonna spill the beans. She is her mother. Yay! Congrats to all of you guys that figured that out earlier.
For 9 years, the king didn't paint a thing. Then he had a vision, a colossal monument of himself that would be his legacy for the ages. But he hadn't even finished painting the scale model, which was over 100 feet tall itself, when his powers began to fail.
Huh. I wonder how that works. Although, that makes me think now, since the queen was made out of his, magic, his paint, so you will. When his, magic started to fail, does that mean our mother, couldn't, and that's the reason why she wasn't there anymore, because she passed away due to his magic not working? I think that's what happened, right?
The king never finished another painting. Then one night he went to sleep and couldn't even finish his own dream. And he's been trapped inside it ever since.
How does that even happen? No clue. No clue. Right. I'm curious. Can I use the sniper rifle to this? Yep, I can. Okay, I need to go. This section contains my favorite song in the entire game. It's a shame that you can't hear it though. No, you can't listen to this soundtrack on Spotify, sadly. You can still listen to it on YouTube. And also you can buy the OST on Steam, I think. Go, 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 go. This section always used to make me panic, but I suppose that's the point, right? Hello. And here we go.
As Monroe stood there trying to think of something to say, the statue shuddered and the hatch slammed shut. And now there was no more need for talking. The king was awake.
Stressful situation, but I freaking love that music. Alright, here we go.
Ah, it's you, the boy from my dream. What a strange dream it was. My life's work was being destroyed, and all I could do was watch.
Come, sit here by the fire.
It all began right there, in the house I grew up in. I heard a heavy knocking at the door, just like on the night I left. I opened the door, but there was nothing there, just white space.
Also, I'm trying to see if this looks familiar to the house and What Remains of Edith Finch, because that was also made by the same people, but at the moment I can't really see it. I know, let me guys know if you can see it. Also, that's what that looks like. Oh, I got myself lost then.
When I got outside, disaster. Some miscreant had painted everything. My garden was ruined.
At least you can see though.
And then my statue spoke and said, "Help me! Some little hooligan is running around splattering everything in the garden. I think he's headed for the... Something got in my mouth. Oh dear.
Now, if you guys remembered, I didn't paint that. It's funny. It's like, even if you don't paint it, that's gonna happen.
I saw my unfinished labyrinth, abandoned and forgotten.
Still beautiful though. Anyway.
And then the credits appeared.
Your dreams have credits?
Oh yes, and subtitles.
Here I come.
And then I saw my beautiful city strangled by those disgusting vines. I built it to stand 100 lifetimes, and instead it'll be buried in one, a monument for weeds.
Also, before I go here, I'll just let you look at it. It's all upside down and jumbled. I love that. Beautiful.
The dining hall was full of people, like the old days. It smelled like roasted goose. For a moment, I was happy. Then suddenly,
Damn.
I was alone again. The world had become cold and dark. I felt my own death rising up around me.
Wow, that's pretty dark. Alright, here we go. I must say, despite this being a very old game, it still is really beautiful. Also, look at that.
I floated past chunks of the house I built, or started building. Scarcely 10 years later, and the whole thing was in ruins. My works were meant to last forever, but most of them will be gone before I am.
Terry Gillihan. Whee!
I was at a funeral. My own, as it turned out. No one was there. Except you.
Oh, he just vanished. Also, that's not terrifying at all. Also, that's pretty morbid. Also, I'm on road now.
I saw my monument, my last hope of leaving something that would live on after me. And I began to walk towards it, and with each step I took, I got larger.
Another
I just
absolute
kept
banger of a song, by the way.
growing, like a teenager. With a gentle push, my monument crumbled and sank. I saw my life's work laid out in front of me. Soon it would crumble into dust or be painted over by someone who would come after me, the same way I painted over what was here before me. When the universe ended, I knew that everything I'd made was over. And as I sat there, looking out into the darkness, I thought back on all the things I'd built and left unfinished. I realized something. I wasn't sad that it was all gone. I had fun making all that stuff. I would have done it anyway. And then, somehow I knew that when I woke up, all my work really would be destroyed. And that's when you showed up. I don't know how you got here, but I'm glad to see you. I have something for you. This brush isn't mine anymore. My work is over. It belongs to you now. I hope it makes you happy, and that someday they will say, he is a better man than his father. That door will take you anywhere you want to go, but leave quickly, child. None of this will last for long.
Damn.
And that night, even though he was very tired, Monroe did something that would have made his mother very happy. He painted.
Aww. Also, I don't think Monroe realized it, but he met his dad, and now his dad is gone too. So he really is like an orphan now. Jesus. As happy as that little bit is, it's also dead sad at the same time. Good lord. Well, that looks like that's the end of this game, guys. Thank you so much for being here and watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you guys next time.